it's time for the daily update here. Not too much has changed in regards to us making any decisive move here. Yesterday we were headed up for this weekly resistance. You can see we hit the weekly resistance to the tick right here, coming off of this bullish divergence where we made a double bottom on the RSI, came down into the 618707 range, if you remember from that video I made right here where I said I would be longing here to at least to the weekly resistance right there. And so we came up to the weekly resistance once, and then we actually shot up and caught some of it this morning as well. But this strong rejection is not good. You know, ideally when we shot up right here, we would have got up above it, and then we could have been looking to buy a retest of this weekly resistance that would have been support. But since we rejected so hard in this candle, the best that we can hope for is for us just to gather support and then make another go at this and try to get back above it. But at this point, you know, I would want to be looking at some bearish outcomes as well. You can kind of see we're in somewhat of a channel if you try to channel this as well. So we could continue to go down here in this channel. But the running flat count is not going to look too good if we start to break this parallel channel that we're in right here. And this is where I want to start projecting some lower targets in case this is instead of a B, C running flat where you're in a parallel channel with higher lows, I mean, between A and C. That would be a very bullish running flat, but you know, this could be an expanded flat where we have a C that comes down deeper. And so the way that we can project for that is I'm just going to try to start putting some confluence down here, because in case we start coming down, I want to know where I would want to be getting in at. So the way that I would do this is you do a fib extension from A, B, projecting where the C will be. So you start at the beginning of the A, which was the end of the three wave, and then come down to the low of the A and go up to the high of the B right here. And when you do that, what it does is it actually gives you an extension of where it projects where the C could end. So if this was a running flat, you know, you could see the C still ending here at the 1-to-1, even though this channel would have been broken. Wouldn't really be a parallel channel anymore, but we could still get to here and this still be a running flat. So that's kind of what I'd be looking for if we're going to do some kind of channel like this to finish. And you could probably ignore that wick even if you know, depending on how you want to draw this. We could potentially finish here before coming out of this for that C wave, or we have to go deep into the 1618, which is where you would see an expanded flat. So where this would be the last line of defense for a running flat, which I'm just going to actually put a range between the 1-to-1 and this monthly support, because I think that would be an confluent area where you might see like a wick down through the 1-to-1 and hit the monthly support and then come out of that. So that's an area I'm looking for. And then this area down here at the 1618 is an area that I would be looking for the C wave to end. Let me make sure that I have this on. Yeah, you just got to make sure it's not on log scale because it'll throw it off sometimes. And then what we can do as well is pull a bigger fib, come back to this pivot where the 2 started, or where the 3 started, I mean, and go up to either the high of the 3 or the high of the B. You don't know exactly which one the algorithms are going to be using. If we're being strictly basing it on Elliott wave, we would go to the high of the 3 because that would be the proper way of doing this. And so in that case, you can see the 1618 actually comes down to the 707, which is very deep. It would be very deep for a 4 wave. So, you know, ideally I would like to see, and we could even broaden this support right here to this 0.5. So you have a 1-to-1 extension of this ABC, you have monthly support, and you have a 0.5. So this would look a little more symmetrical to me if we did something like this and we still wouldn't take out that low of the A. So this could still technically be a running flat, and then we can come up for the 5. So I would be looking for something maybe like this more so than coming down all the way to here. But even if we came all the way down to here, I would be aggressively buying at least for a bounce, because the thing is, if this was to sell off really hard and we don't really get much of a bounce, if it does come down that deep, you can just about always expect a nice relief, even if it's going to end up, you know, coming back down again, you can always expect a pretty nice relief. So I'm always looking for these confluent zones where I can be getting in. You know, if this zone failed, I'd be looking at getting in here. So these are areas I'm paying attention to. So the range between 10,893 down to 10,576, I would be interested when we start getting down there. If we do start getting down there, I'd be looking at the lower time frames, trying to figure out when this thing looks like it's going to end. I'd be looking for divergences on the RSI, trying to give me any kind of sign that would get me in to minimize my risk. So that's what I'm going to be looking for if we continue down here. Obviously, I would prefer us to stay above this zone right here. I'm going to go ahead and take this extension off now that we know where the zones are. I'm just going to leave these green boxes on here. But ideally, we would stay above this green box right here, and this would still be done right here. So we just have to see how this reacts. Obviously, I'm not doing anything unless this goes like this and gets back above here. Then I would be buying that retest right here. I would be buying that retest, or if this is going to continue down in some way to where we put some kind of bottom in, I would be buying this, or if it decides to roll over again and go really deep, I would be looking to get in here for that strong reaction up. So these are my these are more of my like plays that I'm going to be looking for the next week or so. But just for today, we need to see if this is actually going to hold right here. Ideally start curling up and getting back above this weekly resistance and make that support. If not, we're going to be looking for possible short scalp opportunities down to like 10,875 down to 10,500, something like that. So this monthly support should come into play in that case, where we can look for reactions there. So we'll see what we have here, and I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll definitely do another video like this tomorrow if we have some action. So I'll see you guys next time.